Have you ever really thought about what it takes for a small fashion brand to survive? I mean, you see the cool designs, the great social media, but behind all that, there's this brutal reality. We're talking high costs, massive financial risks, and now a whole new wave of really complex regulations. It's this incredible squeeze that pushes so many creative people right out of the business. So let's dive into this and see how technology is trying to solve what honestly looks like an impossible problem.
And you know, waste is really at the heart of this entire challenge. As the folks at Fashion for Good point out, it's not just about the clothes we throw out at the end. Waste is literally built into the system from the very beginning, from the materials to the samples to all the stuff that just never sells. This really sets the stage for why the industry is screaming for a smarter way to work.
For small and medium-sized brands, this pressure basically shows up as a three-headed monster. Yep, three separate but totally connected forces that make it incredibly hard to just, stay in business.
Okay, let's break this monster down. Head number one, the insane cost of creating the kind of high-quality 3D digital content you need to even get noticed online. Head number two, the huge financial gamble of meeting what factories call minimum order quantities. And the third head, this looming storm of complex new EU compliance laws. Any one of these can be a major problem. All three together, it's a potential knockout blow.
Let's just park on that middle one for a sec. MOQ. This is so important. A factory won't start up all its machines for just one shirt. They have a minimum batch size. So what happens? A small brand has to literally guess what's going to be popular and then sink thousands of dollars into inventory up front. And if they guess wrong, well, that money's just gone. And all those unsold clothes, they often just become more waste.
So how in the world do you fight back against that? Well, the first part of the solution is making advanced 3D tech accessible. And this is way more than just having a nice spinning picture of a shoe on your website. For the longest time, creating these really cool, interactive 3D experiences was basically the exclusive playground of the big fashion houses. The ones with huge budgets for agencies and developers. But that wall is finally coming down, putting these incredibly powerful tools right into the hands of smaller, independent brands. And the impact of this is, well, it's not small. The data shows that when companies use these 3D configurators, they see, on average, a 40% jump in their conversion rates. That's huge.
But get this, for merchants on Shopify, the number gets even more wild. We're talking a 94% conversion lift when they switch from flat, boring images to interactive 3D models. That is nearly double the sales. Just think about that.
And it's not just about getting people to click buy. It's about making sure they're happy with what they get. When a customer can really see a product from all angles and get a true feel for it, it leads to 30% fewer returns. And that saves money, it reduces headaches, and it cuts down on a ton of waste.
Okay, so this brings us to the first really big aha moment. Because that 3D viewer isn't just a shiny sales tool, it's secretly a powerful data gathering machine that directly solves that whole risky MOQ puzzle we were just talking about.
The big shift here is moving from guesswork to actual data. The old way was a gamble, betting on which colors would be a hit, tracking pre-orders on messy spreadsheets. The new way, with a platform like ThreadZAi, uses one single 3D model to show every possible version of a product. And it tracks what customers are actually interested in real time. It completely replaces a risky bet with a confident, data-driven decision.
So here's how that cycle actually works. A customer comes to your site and starts playing around with a product, customizing it. Every click, every color choice, every time they add it to their cart, all of that is captured as data. Then an AI analyzes all this live demand and can tell you, hey, that blue jacket is on fire. You've got enough real interest to meet your factory's MOQ. And just like that, you can start production without the risk of ordering a bunch of stuff nobody wants.
Now remember that third head of the monster? The regulations. Yeah, as if everything else wasn't hard enough. Brands selling in the EU now have to deal with this whole new world of environmental rules. And this is where the system gets even smarter.
Okay, let's break this down simply. It's called the Eco-Design for Sustainable Products Regulation, or ESPR, and it introduces this thing called a digital product passport. The easiest way to think about it is like a birth certificate for your clothes. It's a digital record, usually tied to a QR code, that has to have provable data on everything, from the cotton's origin to how the item can be recycled. And listen, this isn't some far-off, futuristic idea. The regulation is already active. The specific rules for products like textiles are being hammered out right now, and this will start becoming mandatory as early as 2026. For a small brand that doesn't have a whole legal department, this is a terrifying challenge. And here it is, the second huge aha moment, and this is a total game changer. The very same 3D asset that's giving you that awesome, interactive customer experience is also the foundation for building that required digital product passport. The sales tool and the compliance tool are the exact same thing.
So how does that work? Well, just by producing on demand, you're already way more sustainable, which is what ESPR is all about. Using virtual prototypes cuts down on wasted materials. Fewer returns mean a smaller carbon footprint from shipping. And, this is the kicker, all the product data built into that 3D model can be automatically formatted and spit out to generate the digital product passport. Suddenly, being compliant is just a natural byproduct of selling smarter.
So when you put all of these pieces together, what does this actually mean for the future of fashion? Why should we care? Why is this such a big deal?
It's really about one word: democratization. Instead of insane agency fees, you've got an affordable subscription. Instead of needing to hire expensive 3D artists and coders, you have a no-code platform that anyone can figure out. And instead of just a pretty visual tool, you have one single integrated system that connects your sales, your production, and your compliance. It completely levels the playing field.
And we're not talking about some tiny niche market here. The scale of this opportunity is massive. There are over 130,000 small and medium-sized apparel companies in the EU alone. Together, they make up a market worth about $250 billion. Empowering them can have a truly huge economic and environmental impact.
So ultimately, here's the most important takeaway. For way too long, being sustainable has been seen as a cost, a luxury that only the biggest companies could afford to care about. What we're seeing now is a shift, where technology makes sustainability profitable. It directly connects reducing waste to reducing your financial risk, making it a smart, accessible business decision for everyone.
And that leaves us with one last really interesting thought to chew on. We've just walked through how a simple t-shirt can be deeply connected to live sales data, to automated production triggers, and to complex compliance passports. So if an everyday piece of clothing can become this intelligent, this interconnected, what does that mean for the future of everything else we design, make, and buy?